Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Salwa Khuzaimatu-Analysis. My student number is 12350301882. I'm here. I would like to present my research entitled Analysis of Commissive Speech Acts and Emotional Commitment in Niki's Nicole album as my final exam. Here's for the next slide. The first is background. Language is not only used to convey information but also to perform actions. This idea was proposed by Austin and further developed by Salwa through speech act theory. One type of speech acts is commissive speech acts, which express the speaker's commitment towards future actions. Song lyrics are suitable for pragmatic analysis because they contain emotions and then intention and then interpersonal meanings. So here I choose Niki's Nicole album because the songs mainly discuss about love and then heartbreak, longing, and emotional attachment. While many previous studies only identified speech acts, very few analyze how commissive speech acts represents commissional commitment. Therefore, this study aims to fill that gap. For the research questions, this study focuses on two research questions. The first question is, what types of commissive speech acts are found in Niki's Nicole album? The second question is, how is emotional commitment represented through those commissive speech acts? So, for the objectives, based on those questions, this study has three objectives. First, to identify the types of commissive speech acts, and then second, to analyze how emotional commitment is represented in the lyrics, and third is to explain the relationship between language, emotion, and interpersonal meaning from a socio-pragmatic perspective. For the theoretical framework itself, this study is grounded in speech act theory proposed by Salwa in 1979, particularly the category of commissive speech acts. According to Salwa, commissive speech acts commit the speaker to future actions or future states. In this research, the commissive speech acts were classified into 5 categories, namely promise, intention, willingness, commitment, and refusal of commitment. To interpret their meanings, I combine this theory with the concept of emotional commitment proposed by Mayer and Allen and Roosevelt, which explains emotional attachment, loyalty, hope, devotion, and vulnerability in interpersonal relationships. Next, for the research method, this research employed a qualitative descriptive method. The data source consists of the lyrics from 12 songs in Niki's Nicole album. The data were collected by reading the lyrics and then, of course, listening to the songs repeatedly, identifying commissive utterance, and classifying them. Finally, the data were analyzed using Salwa's speech acts theory, followed by an interpretation of how much utterance represents emotional commitment. So that's why here's the findings. The findings shows that there are 5 types of commissive speech acts identified in the album, and among them, promise is the most dominant type. The analysis also reveals that Each commissive category represents a different dimension of emotional commitment. For example, promise represents enduring love and loyalty, and then intention represents hope, and then willingness represents devotion and self-sacrifice, and then commitment represents emotional attachment, and then refusal of commitment represents vulnerability and emotional honesty. By these findings indicate that the speaker's future-oriented expressions are closely related to emotional experiences rather than merely future actions. Uh, and here I get example of analysis. As an example, one lyric states, "I'll always love you." According to Sterl's theory, this utterance is classified as a promise because the speaker explicitly commits herself to maintaining love in the future. From the perspective of emotional commitment, this lyric represents enduring love and loyalty because the speaker continues to express emotional attachment even after the relationship has ended. This example illustrates how one commissive speech act simultaneously performs a pragmatic function and conveys emotional meaning. Next slide, discussion. Overall, the findings support Searle's theory that commissive speech acts are future-oriented commissives. Future-oriented commitments. However, this study also extends previous research by showing that in song lyrics, commissive speech acts function as representation of emotional commitment. Rather than simply promising future actions, the speakers express loyalty and then hope and then devotion and then vulnerability and emotional attachment. Therefore, language in Niki's songs functions not only as communication but also as a medium for expressing complex interpersonal emotions. So here for the conclusions. So in conclusion, this study identified five types of commissive speech acts in Niki's Nicole album. Among them, like I said before, promise is the most frequently used type. The findings also demonstrate that commissive speech acts represents different forms of emotional commitment, such as including loyalty, hope, devotion, emotional attachment, vulnerability, and emotional honesty. Therefore, this study contributes to pragmatic studies by explaining the relationship between commissive speech acts and emotional commitment in contemporary song lyrics. So with that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. Sorry if there is any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.